Hey guys, House of Villains Season 2, Episode 11, which is the season finale. So let's see who won. So we start back where we left off on Episode 10. West is going off on Jesse, and he's saying how everybody crossed him, and he always gets them back, but Jesse crossed him in a disrespectful way. So he kept telling Jesse that he lost already, and he's a dead man walking, and Jesse was like, listen, I don't really care. Like, he looked nonchalant, like, I'm ready for whatever. He said this is West scrambling because he's finally having to fight for his position in the house, something that he's never had to do before because he's always had pawns. Now, y'all know Victoria and New York are basically Team West, and they were just saying how Jesse did too much. And he's really off his rocker right now. And Larsa, you a fake asshole. You don't know what side you on. Just last week, you was talking about, I'm going to follow West till the end. He's the strongest person in the house. This, that, and the third. I'm going to go with whatever he say. Now you're talking about, oh, West never won a challenge. I've worked hard and I've won challenges. West hasn't done anything. Like, girl, figure out what side you on. You fake asshole. Larsa and Victoria tried to act like they squashed their beef because they saw Wes and Jesse arguing. So they were like, they were cutting deep. And I don't think me and you would ever go that far with each other. Y'all went further with each other, the way y'all was talking about each other. And then the producers asked Larsa, do you actually like Victoria? And she said no. So you just trying to get on Victoria's good side so you could see if you could win. Fake asshole. Now remember, Victoria dumbass got that whole bed delivered to the front of the house, basically in the living room. Now she's talking about, oh, I can't really sleep in this bed in the living room. Like, it's too out in the open. Then what was the point of you getting it? But she asked New York who was sleeping in her room, and New York was nice and was like, you can sleep in my bed. And New York is not usually that nice. So that means she either has really taken to Victoria and or she's saying, like, let me give this girl my bed. So if I end up in the top 3, I could get the vote. Because right now, West, Larsa, and New York have to fight for that last spot. Safari and Jesse have already secured their spots in the finale. So New York congratulated Safari on making it to the finals. And then Victoria came in and New York asked Victoria who she would vote for. And Safari was like, well, she hates me. And Victoria was like, I don't hate you, but I haven't built a relationship with you and you've always been kind of cold to me. So I would be voting for West or New York. So Richard and West were talking and West was like, I've won competition shows before, but I've never had a jury. And I think that's kind of what scares me. But Richard told him when I won Survivor, I went up and had to talk to everybody who I had gotten eliminated, which was the jury. And I told all of them exactly what I did to them and why. And that's what made them vote for me because I was honest and they understood that I really wanted to win the competition. And that's why I went so hard. And Richard basically told him, I feel like you did what I did in the sense of telling everybody why you did what you did to them, but you also had a little more outside of the game meanness that might bite you in the ass, especially with how you were talking to Jesse. Now, everybody's talking in the kitchen, and Larsa ate this one thing. She said, what if that immunity card that Wes had was fake? He clearly didn't want to try it in the game, so he probably bought that from home and made up a crazy-ass story. Yep. And she was like, that's basically cheating, but I guess because this is a house of villains, everybody could be full of shit. Because I low-key felt like when Joel and them found out that he was doing that, they should have exposed it. So Teresa was like, well, I'm not voting for New York after everything she had said about my husband cheating on me and everything. I forgive, but I don't forget. Okay, so that means you should also be forgiving and not forgetting what Larsa did to you by putting you up. You also shouldn't be forgetting what Jesse did to you by pushing you to the end of the least villainous line and getting you eliminated. So in my mind, if she's following that logic that she just said about forgiving but not forgetting, it will only leave her to vote for West or Safari. But knowing Teresa, she'll probably still vote for Larsa, even though Larsa did her dirty as well in this game. Okay, so we're at the final redemption challenge to see who's going to be the last spot in the finale between Larsa, New York, and West. So before they start the challenge, we finally get the voice Eva, who we've been hearing all season, like talking to the house, making the announcements. The actual lady who plays the voice comes out. Now, they kept hyping this up, making it seem like it was somebody so famous who everybody was going to know. I don't know who this lady is. But Larsa basically said that her name is Monica Garcia, and she's one of the biggest villains in Housewives, so there's no surprise that they would find some way to bring her into this house. Now, when they showed the flashback of Monica Garcia on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I remember the lady going off on her saying, receipts, timeline, screenshots, but I don't remember her. But Teresa doesn't seem to be feeling her because y'all know Teresa went to jail. And another housewife named Jen Shah went to jail. And apparently Jen Shah hired Monica and Monica was working for her. And then Monica was the rat to the government and it ended up getting Jen Shah in jail. So that's a mess. And Monica's definitely giving rat vibes if that's true. So for this game, West, Larsa, and New York are each being given 9 quotes that have been said about them from other players in the game. So they have to match each quote to the villain that they think said that about them. And then they'll take all the puzzle pieces that have the villain's faces on them and they'll form an arch in the order that the quotes were said. And the first person who completes the arch in the correct order will advance to the finale. And Larissa is the only one whose quotes weren't used in the game because she never met Larsa in the game and she didn't have a chance to say anything about Larsa. So they're all doing a decent job at identifying who said what about them, but New York is having an issue stacking her arch. Larsa was also struggling with her arch, and Wes was just putting his quotes in order on the floor before he started trying to make the arch, which probably would work in his favor. So Wes started putting his arch together, and he was able to really figure it out, but he had the quotes incorrect. He had about 4 wrong, so he has to start over. Larsa finally got her arch done, and she had 7 out of 9 quotes wrong, so she got to start over too. New York finally got her arch up last, and she had 4 wrong. So New York and West are basically tied. Larsa has more quotes wrong that she has to figure out. Then New York was trying to figure out this quote. Somebody had said they would slide her wig off her head. I'm like, girl, you should have knew that was Camila. So West ends up winning the challenge. And the finale comes down to West, Jesse, and Safari. I'm not really surprised because from the beginning of the game, once they got Richard out, I basically said that West was running the game and Safari and Jesse were right underneath him. And they were working with him. So I kind of felt like it would end up coming down to these 3. And it's crazy because now y'all got me in a position where I got to root for Safari as my first place, Jesse as my second, and Wes as my last. So New York and Larsa were both irritated, and New York was like, damn, I lost again. Will I come back for season 3? I don't know. Somebody call production and tell them I should. And like I said, I'm here for them bringing New York back every season until she wins, honestly, because she's just a cackle. So after the challenge, Victoria and New York were talking, and New York was like, who are you going to vote for? Victoria said she was going to vote for Wes, and she was like, I think you're going to vote for Safari, but I think New York is going to vote for Wes. And Victoria was like, I just hope that when I watch the show, Wes didn't talk too much shit about me. Like, I know he talked a little bit, but I hope it's not too much to the point that it makes me look stupid for voting for him. They show all the old clips of Wes talking about her, calling her a pawn and everything else. You're going to be very surprised and saddened, Victoria. Larissa told Jesse that she would vote for him, but it don't sound like she really is going to vote for him. She sound confused. She really don't know these opponents that well. She was only there for like 1 or 2 episodes. So then Wes basically went begging Candy for a vote, and Candy was like, didn't y'all just rip my chances out of my hands and now you coming and begging me for a vote? What the hell is going on? So in his confessional, Wes was like, I'm just going to go around to everybody who might be bitter towards me and remind them why I should win. Because y'all all know I've already won House of Villains. It's just a matter of if I'm going to get the check. And I will say he definitely played the fuck out of all of y'all on this show for the most part all season long. And even the people that he wasn't playing, like Camila and Richard, he was able to get them out early. But I don't like how he plays, and I don't like how he moves, and I don't like how he talks, or how highly he thinks of himself and how lowly he thinks of other people. So for me, I would not want him to win. Like I said, I don't like Jesse either, but I'll even take Jesse over him. And I'm not a fan of Safari because y'all know I love Nikki Down, but he's first place right now. I can't lie. I'm rooting for everybody black. Candy told Safari that Wes was going around the house talking to everybody, trying to get votes, and basically asking him if he was going to do the same. And Safari was like, no, like, I already said what I got to say. I ain't doing all that. People know what's real and what's not. Like, they going to do what they want to do. So Wes goes up to the room with Jesse and Safari on some corny shit and was like, even though I hate you, congratulations to all 3 of us. And him and Jesse, like, shook hands. So Joel tells them that they'll be able to air their final grievances and ask and answer a few questions for each other. So he asked Safari, what do you think was your most villainous move in the game? I respected that he was honest and said that it was messed up how he gave Camila that hug and told her, hey, you got my vote, and then went and voted against her to save, I believe, Larsa. Jesse talked about how nobody thinks he should win or feel like he should be on the show, but everybody got played so he could be here, and he had to cut out his biggest alliance that he didn't want to do besides game-related purposes, talking about Candy. Wes revealed that him and New York have had a relationship since this summer because they filmed that other show together. They didn't know that each other would be here, but when they walked in and saw each other, they continued the alliance because they had already just finished forming a friendship. Camila and Victoria basically said that they felt like Wes and New York had something going on, like their alliance wasn't as hidden as they thought it was. And Candy said, well, I think we all have a question for Wes. We need to get down to the bottom of that immunity letter. So Wes gave the necklace to Joel and was like, can you tell them if this is real or not? And Joel was like, yeah, this is definitely a necklace, but it has nothing to do with this show. So Wes was like, yes, Candy, I lied to you. You were going to put me on the hit list, and I used it as leverage to save myself. Camila was like, I knew it. Larsa was saying that's cheating. Candy wasn't really feeling it either. And Richard jumped in and was like, listen, this has been going on for 24 years, talking about back when he was on Survivor. Candy said, I don't care about what happened 24 years ago. We talking about the game we in now. And he was like, all I'm telling you is that stuff like this has been happening on reality competition shows, and it's not cheating. It's not considered cheating. And like Richard said, they were duped, and that's part of the game. I do understand what Richard's saying, but I do think that it should have got exposed earlier than this. whether that be from the contestants themselves just putting it out there, or whether that be from the production putting it out there, or Joel. But like I said, if I was a contestant, like if I was in Candy's shoes, I would have asked that in the elimination room that week. I would have asked Joel. He's talking about he got an immunity idol. Is that true? And Wes was like, well, it worked. It got me off the hit list and I'm here. And Candy said, well, you do realize that this is still a hit list tonight. You're still fighting for votes tonight. So Candy's basically letting it be known, I'm not voting for you. And I don't want you to win the money. So Safari ate his little final plea up. He was like, can any of y'all raise your hand if I came up to you begging for a vote today saying, are you going to vote for me? And he was like, exactly. None of y'all can raise your hand because I know what I did since I came in this house. I know how I've dealt with people. I know what time it is. And if you don't F with me, you don't F with me. Like, it's cool. And that's that. But basically, the people who I've dealt with, they know that I'm genuine and I'm a good person. And the people that he did kind of shit on, like Camila, he did take accountability for. Wes said that he just wants them to know what he's going to do with the money. He plans to put every single dollar into a trust for his baby girl who's only 5 months old. And she was like, when she's 18, she's going to hear about each and every one of you because she'll be a millionaire. And she'll be able to thank each and every one of your votes for that. Because I guess he's going to put the $200K into the trust and it'll probably like get interest over time. And Jesse basically said, I had to fight to be here. A lot of people didn't think I should have been this far into the competition. I'm the sole provider in my family. And I'm wearing the blood of the decisions that I had to make in this game, basically saying how he had to take out Candy, who was his closest alliance, because he just had to fight to stay in the game and make sure that he had the best chances at winning in his mind. So Joel says it's time to vote, and he announces that this time the votes will be right here in public. There's no going in the back room. There's no secret voting. He said, I've allowed you guys to stab each other in the back. Today, you basically have to stab each other in the front. So first up, Victoria votes for Wes. She said that he was the most strategical and tactical, and she feels like he played the game the best. I respect it, but you will feel stupid when you see everything he said about you on the show. Now it's Richard's turn, and he was saying how he hoped to hear from Safari because he felt like Safari had a great chance of playing a good social game, but basically once he came back into the house, Safari never came to reconnect with him and update him on how he had played the game, which is kind of crazy because him and Richard were cool from what I remember. Like, they used to share a room. So he could have at least talked to him. He didn't have to beg for a vote, but he could have just told him like, hey, this is what happened since you left. So Richard also decides to vote for Wes, which makes sense because he was basically just defending Wes with the whole immunity card thing. And they are supposed to be voting for who is the greatest supervillain, not who you like. When it was Candy's turn, she basically said, we all got a sob story. When I went up to get voted out, I told y'all my sob story and how I didn't really have it like that. My parents still work at Walmart, this, that, and the third, and y'all still voted me out and said we don't care about sob stories. So I don't care about Wes with his sob story about his 5-month-old daughter and this trust he want to put for her. And Candy was low-key shading Jesse with that too. So Candy voted for Safari. So right now, Wes has 2 votes, Safari has 1. Camila said the same thing. Nobody cared about her sob story. She's voting for Safari. So now it's 2-2 for Wes and Safari. Jesse, you got no votes. What's going on? So Larissa voted for Wes because she said she feels like he was a great manipulator in the game. And again, they're voting for the best villain. And she was there the shortest, so she doesn't really have any personal attachments, even though she had told Jesse earlier that she would vote for him. Larsa voted for Safari. She said that Safari kept getting put back on the hit list and he always came back and won the redemption challenges and stuff. He really fought to be in the game and he had 9 lives. And I will say that's true. So now Wes and Safari both have 3 and 3. There's only 2 votes left and Jesse still has 0. So he got eliminated from the competition. He's in 3rd place. Not really surprising because everybody said that you didn't really bring nothing to the show. And like I said, you didn't start trying to act like a villain until episode 7 or 8. And this is 11 and this is the finale. Like, bye. Try again another season and come hard from the beginning. Come hard from episode 1. So Wes was cracking up in his confessional and he was like, 0 votes is 0 votes. Kiss that 200,000 goodbye. Such an idiot. Oh my God, I really hope Safari win and not Wes. I'm serious. Even though I feel like Wes probably is going to do something better with the money by putting it into a trust, Safari about to go spend that shit on a car or a couple fur coats. But, I just don't want Wes to win. He got on my nerves this whole season. So Teresa said, my definition of a villain is someone who looks you in the eye and tells you the truth, not somebody who hides behind other people. So my vote is for Safari because he did everything right in front of our faces. So Safari has 4 votes, Wes has 3. It comes down to New York. So if New York votes for Safari, he's going to win the money. But if she votes for Wes, then it's going to be a tie. I don't know what happens then. I'm guessing maybe they'll let Jesse vote. I don't know. And New York basically says she loves Wes and Safari. They both kept her grounded and thoroughly entertained and everything. She had good conversations with them both throughout the game. But this is House of Villains. And she's going to vote for the person who played the nastiest, most ruthless, most villainous game. And that person goes to Wes. So she voted for Wes because she felt like he played the best game. So let's see what happens now because it's a tie. But Safari was very upset. He was like, that says a lot about New York's character to me. Why would she not vote for me? Because basically the 200K was right there. And now she just made it a tie and we don't know what's going to happen. So if West ends up winning, it's like New York basically snatched that 200K out of Safari's hand. So like I expected, Jesse is going to be the tiebreaker. And West was like, oh, this is not the spot that I wanted to find myself in. So I do think that Safari is about to win because Jesse does not like West at all. And he chose to bring Safari with him to the finale. So why wouldn't he give Safari the win? So Jesse took his shirt off, and when West went to give his plea, he said, I'll tell you how you can win right now. Get on your knees and beg. And Candy was like, now that's a villain because I don't think I'm a beg for nobody on national television in front of everybody on my knees, not even for $5 million. So everybody told West to do it. He ended up getting down on his knees and begging him for the win. Now, if I was Jesse, I would let him beg and still give the win to Safari because that's a real villain. Yeah, Jesse ate that. He said, Safari, congratulations. You just won $200,000 while West was still down on his knees. Jesse just ate that. He became my fave at the last episode in the last 10 minutes. Like Camilla said, West, go back to MTV, buddy. It's a wrap. Gotta watch how you do people. Gotta watch how you talk about people, West. Them tables turn. Congratulations to Safari. I would love to see New York back for season 3. And I would also love to see Giselle from Real Housewives of Potomac. Or maybe even Mia. So I will see y'all for season 3 of House of Villains. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube because TikTok will be going January 19th. Bye.